to do? It's not there. There's the beginning of the shop.
I'm completely lost.
Love it or loathe it. The world's largest furniture shop has shaped the way we live.
As soon as you're in, you can't get out, can you? Spend, really.
Founded in 1943, Ingvar Kamprad established Ikea as a global brand before his recent death at the age of 91. His unique approach to business still guides staff today.
I've always seen Ikea as more of a movement than a company.
For the first time in its 75-year history, Sweden's most famous export has granted our cameras worldwide access.
Namaste.
We filmed the £34 billion operation over the course of a year.
The big machine, it needs to be filled, huh?
Following their rapid global expansion.
We're just entering one of the biggest markets in the world. And I think that we're writing some history, actually.
Discovering what it takes for a new product to make it to the shelves.
I wanted to do a cot and a coffin, so I approached Ikea with that idea, and they just said, no, you're joking.
And learning the secrets of how it became one of the largest and most influential companies in the world.
It is creativity versus commercialism and finding that beautiful balance.
From the outside, it looks like an ordinary office space, but it's actually anything else than an office space. It's the very heart of our product development and design facilities within Ikea.
Marcus Engman is Ikea's head of design. He's in charge of a team that produces thousands of prototypes each year.
Good morning. Here is the prototypes that you work with right now, each and every designer by their desks. And it's also things that they think is inspiring for them when they sit down at the office space. We have this gigantic studio. We have like 4,500 square meters of just prototypes. We also have our own factory on site inside of the office with skilled craftsmen and skilled machinery. All of the stuff that we could produce within Ikea in different parts of the world, we could produce here in our office. Just another ordinary morning. It's like a Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, but what comes out of this is not chocolate, it's actually great home furnishing.
Marcus works with an in-house team of just 12 designers who are under constant pressure to come up with new ideas that keep Ikea's offering fresh.
I make dinosaurs with eyes and they look in funny ways, you know, so really angry, happy, a bit worried.
The other rotates and the tilting.
I think this could be a carpet. When it has some kind of side table also. More like a pillow. I think it's quite an interesting piece.
Each week, Marcus is pitched new ideas by his team.
These are sort of in between a carpet and a sofa.
And he decides which go on to be developed.
The shapes of them are not that interesting. They're a bit too... or ordinary, to be honest.
In an attempt to bring in new customers, Marcus has started collaborating with a number of big names from outside the company. They're working with audio giant Sonos to target tech enthusiasts. And with Virgil Abloh, who designed Nike's highest profile trainer of 2017 to bring in the millennials. And this year, they're working with the enfant terrible of British design Tom Dixon to target the high-end market.
Do you think if you don't collaborate or look to the outside, you'll get left behind?
No, yeah, of course, that could always happen with someone who's really big like us. You know, you become kind of slow, and you think that what you do is truly great because you're the biggest. And I think that's the scary thing, actually, to be in that position.
Working with Tom means IKEA won't be in full control of the design process.
Two strong personalities meeting in this project.
What's he like?
He's a fun guy. Could be kind of grumpy from time to time too.
Here we are in our epicenter, and this is the basement workshop. Not quite as good as IKEA's.
Tom Dixon runs his own furniture business. He produces low volume and sells at high prices. IKEA hope the collaboration will attract customers who'd like to own one of his products but can't afford one.
It's a bit more David and Goliath in my mind. I always like the ideas of benign parasites where you know, I can make a living out of this huge beast. So, you know, tap into superior engineering, extraordinary global sourcing, and it's just actually the beginning. My first idea was I wanted to do from the cradle to the grave. So I wanted to do a cot and a coffin. So I approached IKEA with that idea, and they just said, no, you're joking. But in the conversation that followed, we struck on this idea of working on a bed, because bed for me is like the primary unit of life or living or furnishing.
Since the original conversation, Tom's idea has evolved.
So what is it?
It's not a sofa bed, it's a bed sofa. But it's really a platform for living. For working, for sleeping, for shagging. It's a new way of thinking about furniture as more permanent and more adaptable. From this platform, I can then create a sofa by adding on backrests and adding on cushions, an intrinsic coffee table, let's say a reading lamp, like this, all kinds of different things. And then I can evolve the objects during my life to go back to being a bed if I have kids, for instance, or I split up from my wife and I go back to single living. It can re-become what it was at the beginning. Very much like a telephone. These things are not static. You keep on buying apps for them. In fact, you can see the kind of closeness between this design and that design.
Encouraging people to customize one of their sofas is a totally new concept for IKEA.
So let's say we've got the frame. I'm going to slide my 10mm bolt head down the groove, and that means I can just bolt on any component I like. If I want to stick a side table, if I want to stick a lamp, if I want to make the legs longer or the rest of it, all I need is a conventional bolt that I can buy in any hardware store.
Tom plans to use IKEA's global manufacturing muscle to make the bed as competitively priced as possible. The frame will be made out of recycled aluminium, which is more expensive than wood, but is long-lasting and sustainable.
There is an association of disposability with IKEA, and it's certainly something I think about a lot, which is, well, can I make something which can last a lifetime or several?
Marcus has given the challenge of managing the Tom Dixon project to one of his team, James Futcher.
Just going through these detailed concepts from Tom, because we need to make some decisions on, you know, how we're going to actually produce it and which one is the right one. My role is kind of being diplomatic, listen to Tom's views and how he would like it to be, and then making it work with how we work at IKEA.
But working with a maverick designer like Tom is a leap into the unknown.
It's a complicated project, isn't it?
It is a fairly complicated project, since it's a way of constructing upholstery that we have never done before.
I mean, could we really change the way that sofas are made using aluminium as the base and not having the typical wood structures with the nailing and the stapling? How could we really industrialize making sofas in a different way?
Why is that important?
Because it's important to the world, and you know, we want to make the world a little bit of a better place. That's part of our vision within IKEA.
I think it's about daring to try something different.
Let's see, it could be one of our greatest mistakes, or it could be a really good thing.
So it doesn't work? Whose head's on the line?
Who to blame? If it doesn't work, I would say it's James' head.
A lot of my responsibility.
To make it work.
Yeah, you would say.
I'll do the fun, he has the hard jobs.
Yes.
Of the many prototypes made in Almholt every year, 2,000 go on to be manufactured and distributed around the world, including Britain, where 19 stores contributed £1.8 billion to the company's global profits last year.
Morning, mate.
Despite such big numbers, UK sales actually slowed,
Morning, Tony.
putting every store under pressure.
Morning, Lucy. All right.
For announcement, please attend the 9:05 meeting at Metro Checkouts.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
How are you doing? Water. I've cycled in and it's got past the zip. It's a clean top. No, it's a clean top. It's not drool.
We've got amazing new products
We've got some brand new news that's just come in. Oh. Have a guess what they are? Chairs, yeah. Function. Little hooks. They're a pack of 3 and they're for £3.
Wow, how good are they?
So little.
With last year's figures not so strong, the morning meetings are a chance to find out how the year-on-year sales are looking.
Floor sales for yesterday plus 23% on last year.
We are a little cog in a big Ikea machine, but to the people who work in Warrington, we are Ikea Warrington. We're the number 1.
So yeah, have a great day, everyone.
Today is extra special for Warrington. It's 30 years since it became the first store in the UK.
We've got party poppers. We've got, air guitars. I don't know how much you paid for those, but I suppose they've gone up with inflation.
Paul Fishwick is one of the UK's longest-serving members of staff.
I'm leaning on the lamppost at the corner of the street to watch a certain little lady go by. Started in May 1987. 26 years of age. And now I'm just an old man. I actually had dark hair then. Had a little porno tash. Which was the rage in the 80s.
A lot has changed in the last 3 decades, including music
Bit of Billy.
and fashion.
Morning, Michael. Oh, I love the shell suit. Come back round again. Where's the trousers?
But the IKEA concept remains largely the same as when it came to the UK.
They queued from the early hours for a first glimpse into the Aladdin's cave alongside the M62.
Opening day started about 7 in the morning. We had the Swedish ambassador here and he cut the log and the store was open. People came in. People didn't understand the concept.
We are a little bit different in that we set out to allow the customer to serve themselves as much as possible.
People were asking us strange questions. Excuse me, where's the televisions? Do you do a bumper for a 1981 Vauxhall Cavalier? And could you come with me because I need you for an hour while I pick my furniture? And you say, no, there's 5 of us. We can't come out. Makes you very reflective. What we do today and what we did in the past. And how the customers understand IKEA more. And how the concept is accepted now. Beautiful stroll on a wet afternoon in a dry building. How can this be deemed unpleasant? And you're going to go and part with some hard cash.
Can I just get through there, please?
So you're getting that thrill of purchasing.
Anyone's paying by card?
Retro retail, that's what we call it.
Like this.
Having worked for the company for 30 years,
You're looking for something.
Paul has seen how IKEA's pick, pay and take it away formula can be frustrating for customers.
A2 is this area here. Yeah, this is actual sort of instant gratification shopping.
Quite old-fashioned, isn't it?
Very old-fashioned, but old-fashioned is good. In the 80s, Ikea had a little bit of an arrogance about it. We're making a lot of money, we're always busy, we'll do the basic to sell as much as we can, bulla bulla, stack it high, and the result was we had 10% growth a year.
What's changed in Ikea in the past 30 years for you?
I think for me, we have to fight for the money a little bit more. In so much as we were always guaranteed in the early days massive growth, now we fight for growth. What's going to happen in another 30 years? And you see it already. Online shopping's going through the roof. I mean, look at Amazon. They've got a big place down the road, twice the size of this. No customer ever goes in there. And all you do is pick your smartphone up, go boop, 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 pay with whatever method you're paying, and within an hour or so it's outside by a drone outside your back door.
You sure you're not being a miserable old man?
I'm a miserable old man, yes. But am I a realist, or am I being delusional?
The internet may have changed the way we shop, but IKEA's biggest marketing tool is still their catalogue. Last year, 203 million copies were produced in 35 languages, making it the largest publication in the world, with more copies printed than either the Bible or the Quran.
Better to move this one up here and have this here.
Standing out
I don't
there.
know.
Yes, I think
maybe
so.
resize this one a little bit.
Yeah.
Looks very empty now.
Sarah Blomqvist is the creative leader on the catalogue, responsible for producing one vision seen by millions around the world.
Let's try that.
Yep. Good. Now we have one more spread to go.
It's such a massive production. This is the IKEA catalog. It's so big. It reaches so many people. And that's amazing because you affect so many people. And if that is not addictive, I don't know what is.
On the outskirts of Almholt, in the largest photographic studio in Northern Europe, an army of workers build hundreds of realistic rooms.
Sarah, have you been on the floor yet?
No, I haven't actually. There hasn't been any time today, so I have no idea actually what's been happening.
It takes 9 months and hundreds of millions of pounds to complete the catalogue.
Guys!
And it works. In the month it's released, there's a significant bump in profits.
I'm working over lunch.
Today, Sarah's preparing for the most important photo of all. The front cover.
The first thing that people see is the front cover, so it's going to make a huge impact when it lands in people's mailboxes. The front cover is the signal to everyone, the idea and the message of what we want them to feel when it comes to IKEA.
Over the years, front covers have tended to be commercially driven and focused on furniture. Sarah has a strong creative vision of what this year's image should be.
The idea with this year's catalog cover is to show life with people, different ages, different origins, diversity.
So how many people have you got?
Around 12. We are not even sure how many people we'll show on the actual cover.
The cast are nothing without a set, and Sarah's got just 2 days to get it ready.
Have we thought about a bit rugging up the texture on it?
Yeah, lived in. Yeah, that's a really good point.
We are just thinking about how we can make the room look a little bit more lived in.
Instead of having new, fresh flowers from the shop, they are on their way to get old, but nice things.
Once the shoot is over, Sarah will travel to Malmo to present a selection of the photos to a powerful group known as the Catalogue Council.
The council are senior members of different branches from IKEA. They have a lot of knowledge about a lot of things.
Last year, the council rejected the front cover and made Sarah start again.
Sometimes it's a challenge, obviously, that we might have a little bit different opinions about what is the best way of showing the IKEA catalogue.
This year, Sarah's idea of focusing on people and not furniture might not be an easy sell.
It might be almost impossible sometimes to meet with a council when they want to be more commercial and focused on sales figures and so on. And that's the reality we live in.
Ikea are one of the world's biggest consumers of wood. Using 1% of the world's commercial wood supply each year, estimates suggest this is equivalent to 70 million trees. With such an impact on the environment, they are rethinking how to make their products more sustainable.
Aluminium is 100% recyclable, so all of this is going in for remelting. Beautiful material.
Yes.
James has come to a recycled aluminium factory in southern Sweden to check on the progress of the Tom Dixon project.
You can see why we've decided to use aluminium. I mean, it's super strong, it's lightweight, durable, and it's really kind of making something different with aluminium that hasn't been done before. So it's super exciting to see the starting point. So all of that aluminium is going to be melted down.
Once melted, the aluminium will be used to make a small number of prototype frames.
It's so important that we get this part right. If we don't get it right now, we'll have made thousands and thousands of pieces and it will be so hard to change. Why is it bent at the end?
In the first place, you don't have the correct temperature. When we start up the production, you test and see that all dimensions are okay.
Here you can really see all the things that we've spent time on designing. You can see the channel where the upholstery parts will clip in. There's 2 channels.
Yeah, screw slots. Here you will put the corner piece going here.
It's amazing now to see it come to life, and very soon we'll be able to cut the panels and actually put them together into a sofa to see how it works.
The prototypes will be shown at a prestigious furniture festival in Milan, where the design will be revealed to the world's press.
When you work with any designer, but especially Tom, you want to do your best job, and it is about making sure that you get everything right.
More than 1,000 miles away, fabrics and cushions are prepared for the prototype. Tom's design uses a sprung mattress, similar to what's found in a standard bed.
I've just got something jammed.
At Product Development HQ, the Tom Dixon prototypes have arrived.
You need to actually get it into the groove, and that's what we've worked out with the aluminium. You can choose whether you sit on it, lay on it, or sleep on it. You can bolt on pieces, strap things on, and that's what's new for us. We're letting the customer choose how they put it together, whether it's a sofa or bed. It's up to you.
Although it has many functions, Tom Dixon's clear which is the most important.
I want to make sure that it's a bed first, and then you can make it into a sofa later. Ultimately, lots of sofa beds are a reasonably uncomfortable sofa with an even more uncomfortable bed inside. Whereas I wanted to make a great bed that would also make an amazing sofa, yeah? You know, from a commercial perspective, they sell much more beds than sofas, right? So it gives that base of you know, a successful item from the beginning, and then the sofa is just almost like the cherry on top of the cake. So, you know, you've got to have the first things first, and the first thing is the bed, and the second thing is the sofa. Bed sofa.
Back in Sweden, James is having a meeting with the business team to discuss marketing the product.
It's really important that in the internal communication that we stick with sofa, not call it sofa bed nor bed. And I know that I just read a magazine from Tom where he said it's primarily a bed.
Yeah.
But it's been tested as a bed as well.
It's frame, yes. But it's due to the mattress that we can't call it sofa, bed sofa or bed.
To be marketed as a bed, Tom's design would need to pass stricter and more expensive safety tests.
Because it's due to that we have different requirements if it's a sofa, if it's a sofa bed, or if it's a bed. So what we are fulfilling is the sofa requirements.
It's due to the mattress that we can't call it bed sofa or bed.
I honestly thought that that's why we've attached it to the slats with the Velcro. That was to take that.
To be able to call it a bed?
Yes.
No. Not to call it a bed, no.
No, it's not.
No.
With the Milan launch in just 5 weeks' time, James has suddenly got an extra headache.
The only thing I'm a little bit nervous was about the bed thing. I didn't know that.
If we're not allowed to call it a bed, we cannot make it in a picture with bed linen on top of it. So we have a challenge here.
With this project, we are really kind of testing the boundaries, making a sofa that you can build up, but at points, the way that you build it up, it does look like a bed and can be a bed platform. So it's not a simple project. That's what keeps me up at night.
The day of the front cover photo shoot has arrived.
Babies!
Sarah has pushed forward with her plan to put a large, diverse group of people center stage.
Maybe I'm so driven to work hard for this cause because it's a cause in a way. It could be because of the background that I come from a very, very poor situation in South Korea and was adopted by a beautiful woman who took me in and gave me a home and became my mother. And I think it matters so much for me to bring out that feeling of belonging to people.
We'll just see if we can kind of see what kick people out and get them to move and then do it a little bit more free-flowing in a way.
Maria Berge used to do Sarah's job and has come along to help manage the shoot.
I mean, we had many sort of discussions about the world today and everything's maybe not going that well for the world as a whole, and that we could kind of be a little bit optimistic and happy about life at home. Maria Berge and I, we are quite similar. We're both kind of these adrenaline junkies. We work like, 24/7. Sometimes it's a little bit too much. You feel like you're not, in control of everything that happens, but then maybe you just have to be a little bit, out of control.
There's loads going on, isn't there? So once you throw models in, it's going to...
It'll be a challenge.
When all the models are coming in, it's going to be a haylock, I would say. It's going to be people running around all over the place, and then it's going to be the trick to actually make it look like it's a place where you want to be and not feel like it's crowded and messy, and also that the furniture that we're showing are visible.
The models are on set for hours and are encouraged to move around the space as the photos are taken.
What the baby does, we can't really coordinate, to be honest, but we're happy. He's doing very well.
Right now we are up to 1,300 something photographs, shots until now, but we are not finished, so it will be a lot.
How many do you think?
I mean, it could be 3,000 something.
Men den hänger ju inte rakt.
Nej, det var det jag Den gör det.
Jag ser det med perspektivet.
The front cover is so important. One of Ikea's most senior managers, Jesper Brodin, has come to the set to see if Sarah's idea is working.
Det är på riktigt också. Hade det så som man sätter upp det själv hemma. Det är helt perfekt.
Nej, precis.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
We're just enjoying it actually.
Wonderful. It's good to see it come alive, right?
Yeah, it's fantastic. This is like Christmas Eve in Ikea.
Yeah, it's good to have you here.
It's very much imitating life in a way. It also reflects the values of diversity, of gender, people with different ethnicities. So it actually has a political message as well. To try to have one message and make that attractive throughout the world.
Jesper may like the idea, but in IKEA, decisions are often made democratically, and Zara still needs to convince the Catalogue Council that her vision is the best way to sell the company to the world.
I would fight for anything that I think is important, and this council meeting is like a henhouse sometimes. It's a total chaos. To actually get them to agree on things, you have to be very persuasive.
IKEA's head of design, Marcus, has flown to Milan for the most important furniture festival in the world.
We're going to Via Ventura now, which is in Lambrata, where we have the big IKEA exhibition.
Did you normally travel in cabs?
No, cab is not the IKEA way. There was no bus, so we had to take a cab. You know, everything you do that costs more money, at the end of the day, that's going to hit the customer. That's partly why I work here, actually. I've always seen IKEA as more of a movement than a company.
The festival attracts thousands of designers, journalists and social influencers. And it's where Marcus and Tom Dixon are revealing their prototype to the world's press.
I really love it. You know, I think it's so nice. It's quite impressive. And the thing I like here is also that it's so many variations to this system.
Despite Tom insisting it's primarily a bed, IKEA are pushing ahead with their plan to market it as a sofa.
It's come out good, really good. Excited. I love that you can really see all of the possibilities. It's a landscape of sofas. Hopefully Tom really likes it.
Hey, how are you?
Pretty well, how are you?
Tom has just flown in from London. He's not aware of how IKEA are displaying his design.
I like to come when it's too late for me to affect anything, because otherwise I just get in the way. Hiya, how are you? I think it's quite confusing the way we're showing it, so I hope people are able to decode it.
What happened?
There's so many sofas around in so many colours. It's a bit hard to know what you're looking at, really. There's no beds. I mean, they're pushing it into a non-bed feeling, and the bed is the basic departure point. So there's going to have to be a lot of explanation.
The presentation of the design is not the only thing Tom has a problem with.
I just think we should move this one forward.
They can't decide which of the sofas that isn't a bed to sit on.
We need some kind of central. We need to be in the middle.
Wouldn't it be good to have like two of those? So one there and one here, and then, you know.
It is kind of each side challenging each other.
I think we've got to be.
Or should we be a little bit?
Tom wants some friction, maybe tries to get some friction in there, but I think Marcus is quite good at giving it back just as much as Tom will give it out.
There's James Futcher. Oi, how is it?
All green.
Tried to fit in with the sofas.
The event is a sellout, with more than 250 journalists keen to see the design.
I mean, will I ever be ready to go? What's up to Marcus? Has he legged it?
Yeah, he's sitting there.
Despite IKEA displaying it as a sofa, once on stage, Tom takes a chance to tell the world what the design really is.
We wanted to make something which had a degree of permanence but adaptability. So that was the departure point. The platform is the bed, but the bed can equally be a sofa or something else. You know, maybe you've got a student bed that turns into a family sofa that eventually turns into a child's bed again. Like, I kind of obsessed about beds because beds are such an important part of furnishing generally, and probably the only piece of furniture you really need.
Tom's continued insistence that it's a bed and not just a sofa means IKEA have to test it as a bed before it can go on sale around the world.
We need to adapt our designs to the regulations all over the world for different species of furniture. And there is the way we test sofas is different from how we test beds. So we started off testing it as a sofa. We haven't tested it as a bed yet.
After a successful photo shoot, Sarah is travelling to meet with the Catalogue Council. She'll need to persuade them to break with tradition and back her idea of having a front cover that is more about people than furniture.
Even if they are, cluttering up the room and covering the furnitures, it's something about, being able to see this is life. People are using our furnitures, and I hope we're not just going to end up with a cover showing a beautiful empty room set, because that would be such a failure.
The council will painstakingly deliberate over whether the front cover should be sending the world a message or just selling furniture.
I always go into these meetings and I kind of never know what to expect in a way. They can be a tough crowd sometimes, but they do it with all the, the best intentions in the world.
Okay, so just let us jump straight into the biggest thing we have right now then, cover. I think, as I said, a room is not just any room without the people. I mean, it's personal, it's human, and it's also a moment of life. The way it's very lived in actually reaches out and talks to you.
This is the most people.
This is the most people we have. We would love to be able to have everyone in the cover. Weekends, when you see the people in the picture and then you turn to this one without, you suddenly feel how empty it is. We need the life.
Or very beautiful.
Yes.
Empty, beautiful.
I believed beforehand that as many as possible, as big a party as possible, that would be fantastic. But when I saw this one, I got the, hey, hang on, we have made a room here where you can see yourself in it. Yeah.
Whenever it's not clear, whenever I have to look twice, then I'm getting disturbed. And it was two things. One, what is the baby doing? Do I see that on the first hand or not? And if I have to look twice, it disturbs me personally. The second one is this cushion. This cushion is very hard to understand what it is. This pencil cushion.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. What is? You cannot even realize what is that.
Right.
Yeah. And that as an observer, that disturbs me a lot, Do we need to remove all these disturbances, that it's very clear?
Sometimes when something disturbs, it's not always bad. I would say that I strongly recommend us to go with life in this room, because this is also what makes IKEA stand out. You can't find any other cover actually working with rooms that does it the way we do.
Personally, I would go for the one without. I think this is the boldest and thereby the strongest.
And if I had to choose, I will actually go for this one without people, because in some of the other I get the feeling on after construction. It don't feel real that this would actually happen in a home as it's set up. The people disturbs me. I didn't find it so commercial. But then I'm from the old school.
Of course, I'm a little bit disappointed now. It tended to sound like we are maybe moving towards an empty room set. And for me, it's a little bit a generic solution. That's not as interesting as it could be.
It is creativity versus commercialism and finding that beautiful balance.
A final decision will be made in 2 weeks' time.
Like reality, only virtual.
To help the store celebrate turning 30, Paul has had a delivery from IKEA headquarters.
This is a VR experience, and you can go back in time with IKEA, see the products, and it tells you about the products, and it's very, very good. It's the future, like garlic bread. Oh yeah, brilliant. Ready to travel through time. I'm in a room that's 1980s. Got pictures of like Yaz and women with lots of makeup and high hair. There's a Billy bookcase. There's an old black and white portable TV. Oh, and a wire chair here. I think I'm in the 90s. Oh, and a kitchen. It's misted up now, I can't see. It was great, yeah, it's made my eyes sweat. I think it's all that time travel that does it.
But IKEA recognise they can't live in the past and are embracing technologies of the future.
I'm just adding sofas everywhere. Look, you've got the new app, the IKEA app. What do you think?
This app allows customers to place 3D images of furniture in their homes.
You're going to be on this desk in the future. Old people like me are going to come in and say, the augmented reality's playing up. Can you sort it out for me, please? I've got 75 sofas in my living room. Hi, would you like to have a go on our augmented reality app? You press that plus button there that adds furniture.
Great stuff.
Oh, you're better at it than me.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, you're good at this. 30 years' time, what do you think the store will look like then?
I think everything will be virtual. You won't even need one of these.
It could be that IKEA is just a meatball shop, and you sit and eat your meatballs and your chips or your fish and chips, and that might be the IKEA store.
Once the trolley is full with meatballs, then we will cover them.
Last year's meatball sales helped IKEA make £1.7 billion from catering, making them the 10th largest food retailer in the world.
The things that customers come for is the meatballs. Do you know how many meatballs we sell throughout the year? Or global? 1 billion meatballs. So that's quite big, eh? Yeah.
Originally from Poland, Simon Rybinski has worked for IKEA for 11 years.
So you as a chef, your two main dishes that you will cook throughout the day will be meatballs and
fish.
Very good, very good. We're learning.
He's just landed a job as food manager at a new store that's due to be built in Sheffield.
When I came to England, I didn't speak much English, and IKEA invested a lot of money in me. So they sent me to college, they sent me to university, and all they expect from me is the commitment and the hard work. Lovely, enjoy. It's now 11 years and I'm still here, smiling, because I like what I'm doing. Definitely. We need 2 white, yeah?
They're here, chef.
Simon's hoping his 11 years hard work will be rewarded with a trip to Almholt, the small town where IKEA was founded by Ingvar Kamprad in 1943.
Okay, so happy to go?
The company paid for staff from around the world to make the pilgrimage.
I must go. Whatever happened, I must go because I have to go. Because I had so many stories, I just want to go and feel it.
Having missed out 3 times in the past, Simon is having to battle it out with the other managers who will work in the Sheffield store when it opens.
And for me, it will be kind of like another step that I made it.
These managers are incredibly keen to go to see the house where Ingvar was born. They want to see the museum. They want to get excited to say this is where it all began.
I went and I was very proud, and I met him as well. Amazing guy. So I can't share how that made me feel, but I've got that with me inside me.
Have we looked at people that maybe have been before and taken them off? How long in your career did you go?
After 5 years.
Like I said in the beginning, this is for me privilege to go.
Okay. Team, we have to break it. It's gone 4 o'clock. Thank you very much for what you've done so far. They just want to go. I understand why they want to go. I'd like them to go. But in IKEA, everything has a cost, and we're cost conscious.
With no immediate decision, Simon will have to wait to see if he's made a strong enough case to go to Almholt.
I hope I will go, finally, after my 3rd attempt. Very exciting time.
Almholt's very different because it's hard to make friends outside of IKEA because everybody you know works in IKEA.
James Futcher has worked for IKEA all over the world, moving to Almholt 11 years ago.
I've never been anywhere like it. It's kind of IKEA town. IKEA, this is the IKEA catalogue. This is where the catalogue is produced for all the countries all over the world. Here we have the IKEA hotel. here's the museum, which is the old Ikea store, the first original store. We go past the new Ikea.
Would you say this place is old?
I think it takes some getting used to when you've moved from a different country. It's sometimes quite hard to get away from Ikea.
With Tom Dixon continuing to call his design a bed, Ikea are having to carry out a new round of safety tests.
We're hoping to make sure that the sofa will pass the tests and the requirements to fulfill it being a bed. So it's a lot of kind of touch and go and making sure that we can pass those tests to make sure it is safe if it is used as a bed.
I have a gas flame.
Although they're sticking to their plans to only market it as a sofa, they're now carrying out flammability bed tests.
And now we wait for 2 minutes.
It must pass the safety test for each of the 49 countries it will be sold in.
It should self-extinguish within 2 minutes, and it has been a minute and a half now. So I don't think it's gonna extinguish.
Any failure is bad news for James. It means they have to change the materials before retesting, which may increase the cost and delay the product going on sale around the world. A decision's been made, and a group of managers from Sheffield are on a pilgrimage to Arnholt.
We don't have to do whatever you want to just chill out, and then we'll see. We have an hour. Yeah.
Food manager Simon is lucky enough to have made it on the trip to the company's spiritual home.
I want to go and see it, you know. I think everyone was saying to me, go now internet, there's so many pictures.
You've got it. I don't want to spoil it.
I don't want to. Yeah, exactly. I want to walk through this train and see it and go.
I just know the prospect of it is so exciting.
And I guess a lot of people today will have this. When you meet your future wife, you had these butterflies, you know. He said,
we're slowing. Nearly there. Goosebumps. Have you got a goosebump shot? Have you? Yes, as well.
It just feels special, doesn't it?
You can see the blue guys.
Yeah. Ikea.
Was that it? Let's go. Come on. Let's go.
The trip is a chance to see where Ingvar Kamprad started Ikea and learn about the values he founded the company on.
To understand the cultures and the values that we live by every day and everything what we do, this is where I hope I will see all of it.
Hello everyone. Hello. We have Ingvar welcoming you.
Born in 1926, Ingvar Kamprad began his business career at just 5 years old, selling matches to locals. He fueled a furniture revolution when he started selling Flatpack in 1956.
In this backwater of the world, it was still a really shitty area. And when they started to farm, they had to clear the stones. They had a really tough time. And they used the stones to build stone walls, which served a purpose. And you solve the problems and the challenges, and you create the stone wall of today, which is the Ikea brand. And we're still building it together, because that was the spirit that these people had to live by, togetherness.
Next, the team head to a building called Till Sammons. Till Sammons means togetherness, and it's a chance for a bit more togetherness. The displays are focused on how Ikea operates as a global business.
Oh, hello.
One in particular, about how products are given the same name around the world, has caught the group's attention.
I'm a little bit bowled over. We've just been having a look at the words, because obviously people say the Swedish words, but they don't translate in every country. So there was a product that may have been called prick, but it can't because it's a slang expression in the UK, so it's gone in the bin. Another one. Again, can't go in.
The team head to a room dedicated to the book Ingvar Kamprad wrote in 1976, The Testament of a Furniture Dealer.
No, I need one.
It's where he wrote down the values he expected his workers to adopt.
Have you got Portuguese?
No matter where in the world, IKEA still expects all staff to live by these beliefs.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
A lot of the stuff that we got today, it was just like, oh, look at this.
I know. Yeah.
To be honest, it is a genius. So if you will have to remember one thing from the trip, what would you remember?
It's the togetherness. It's completely that is what I'm taking.
I mean, it's something similar to me, but you almost can imagine that one of the stone have your name. I think that's where Ingvar realized how co-workers are important to all this expansion, to this success to the company. Yeah. Without those small stones, the wall will just collapse.
Okay, James. Oh, it's full of people, huh?
Are you finishing? Oh,
great. Thanks.
James is updating Marcus with news about the Tom Dixon project.
We've passed all the seating tests, we've passed all the sleeping tests in all countries, unfortunately, except in the US.
Why is that?
It's quite complicated when you need to make something that is for seating and sleeping.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a retest, but there's a consequence that it won't be on time for the global launch. So a sale start later, but we're doing everything we can do to get it as soon as possible.
So how did this happen then? Because you started a year ago.
Yeah, I think it's been very complicated for the team. Is it a bed? Is it a sofa?
We took on something which had a little bit of a bigger learning curve than a normal product development. And then from time to time you pay the price for that. That's a good thing of not being on the stock market, that we could invest in crazy stuff.
And does Tom know?
Yes, Tom knows.
He knows about the delay?
Yes.
He loves it?
No, they're not happy.
I'm kind of bored of talking about it, actually. And so if I have to go to the US in 6 months to talk about it again after I talked about it in Europe, I'm going to run out of things to say, yeah?
In order to make sure the product can go on sale in all 49 markets at once, IKEA will now have to pass a retest for the American market.
What impact does that have, having not going out in the US?
Well, it makes it that then you start having regional launches rather than using this massive power of IKEA to be global and doing it at one time.
The final decision about the catalogue front cover has been made. And 203 million copies are being printed.
Of course, I am a little bit, disappointed. I wanted to have more life in this picture.
It's not the outcome Sarah wanted, but she's already thinking about next year's catalogue.
I have no idea if there will be people on the front cover next year. We will all fight for it, and I will be part of that fight. We believe that we have to have an emotional connection with the world. We want to be, more than just a furniture dealer. And I think that is the most important message of all.
Drum roll, please, everybody. Drum roll for the catalogue.
With the focus very much on furniture, the catalogue lands in stores around the world at the same time.
Why is there so much
anticipation from the co-workers about the catalogue?
It's sort of like a yearning to see what's in it, what the special offers are, and yeah, they wanted to see all that, and it's nice to have a book. I mean, we've had books in this store for 30 years, since the 1987 catalogue.
It's the biggest marketing investment we ever will have. So just think about how powerful the catalogue is, guys.
What do you think?
Very good. I love the colour scheme. Lovely and bright.
How long have you been shopping at Ikea?
Since it was open.
Seriously, from the 80s? I've been here from the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you like it.
Thank you very
And
much.
that's another 30 years, eh?
Yeah.
Brilliant. What do you think of the front cover?
It's in your face.
It's a bit in your face.
Yeah.
Okay. Does it inspire you?
Not really. I don't know. It's not really my thing. There's just too much going on here.
Just looks like there's stuff everywhere, which I guess you can imagine it sort of lived in, was what they were going for, but not for me.
I think it would look better with people.
Yeah, I think people, yeah, maybe pets, animals, everyone loves animals.
It does look a bit busy. I mean, a lot of customers have said that. It doesn't look like the house has been burgled. Should I not say that? honest and transparent, that's IKEA.
Yeah, it's exciting now to see how it looks, get the first reaction from the customers. So really exciting, a little bit nervous.
James is assembling the bed sofa in an IKEA store for the very first time.
Should we find somewhere that we can maybe put it here and put all the covers on and then... It looks nicer than I thought it would look here. It looks kind of quite elegant and sophisticated. It's quite different from the typical sofas we have. Think it's comfortable?
Yes. It's very comfortable. Yeah, really. Surprisingly comfortable.
Having initially failed the safety test for North America,
we're going to go to the bedroom department to get some bedding.
Tom Dixon's design has passed the retest.
We take one of those and the pillow set. I think that'd be really cool. In all of those 419 stores around the world, we can now talk about it as a sofa and as a bed. And that's what Tom wanted to do, Marcus and me wanted to do. You know, it's a great relief. Put the pillows down, take all the cushions off, and, you know, here's a bed. I mean, it looks quite inviting. I could jump in. It is a sofa, it is a bed. It's a multifunctional platform unit that you choose what you want to use it for. Tom's happy, I'm happy, Mark is happy, and I hope the customers will be happy.
It's really comfy. It looks very modern as well. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I think it would be something to buy, especially for my kid. I mean, it can be something that I start up with a bed and then can add on. Maybe that's something for you.
The delays and retesting mean the idea of a low-cost piece of furniture is slipping away. Each country will decide how much they sell it for.
It's quite nice.
But the recommended price has gone up from £530 to £700.
Feels good. It's a relief.
And now that it's safe to be released, the bed sofa will go on sale around the world.
We made it. It's going to be in the stores.
Next time.
It's here we produce a lot of furniture for Ikea. Smoke comes from that machine.
Failure is not really an option for us right now.
Look at that. Hey, there's no way in the world you think that's going to open. Not this August, you're thinking next August.
Hannah's got this idea of sticking a finger in each vase to make it different. That's really crazy.
Uncover the mysteries of Flatpack, everyday design and brand names. To find out more, go to bbc.co.uk/Flatpack Empire and follow the links to the Open University.